morning! This is the first evening video that I've recorded since I started vlogging about a month and a half, maybe 2 months ago. Believe me when I say it was strange not turning on my camera the entire day after I got into this habit, but quite frankly there wasn't really much to show you except for my daily routine and my morning routine. In the morning I took my daily cocktail of meds. If you haven't seen it, you can check it out in the description below. It's already linked. The doggies were fed, the fishies were fed, the plants were watered, the house was Swiffered, everything was tidied and put where it belongs. So unless you haven't seen my morning routine in other videos and would still like to see it, just let me know and I'll include it in my daily vlogs. The afternoon was nothing special either. I have my one tutoring session Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So I prepared material for my Thursday, Friday, Saturday, also in the afternoon. I finally got to log into my health insurance, which is what I'm going to talk to you about tonight. So really there was not much to share with you today, with the exception of the health insurance pharmacy issue was finally resolved. My family member who was without medication for a little over a week is finally going to have the medication that is required for the specific illness in question right after tomorrow. The medication is already en route, so finally, hallelujah, it is resolved. This also means I get my mornings back, so I'm really excited to probably incorporate either stretching or light yoga or maybe even swimming once again into my routine, although not tomorrow because I have a doctor's appointment and you will accompany me to that appointment. Now for tonight's video, if you are not a chronically ill person or a caregiver or deal with health insurance and medical copays and things like that, a lot of medical bills, this video may not be for you, but I do invite you to check out all the other videos that I've linked below. They're the ones that I honestly believe capture best what my life, at least my experience, is like with Crohn's disease. It was my recent flare in December, January timeframe, and those are the ones that I'm sharing below. But you can also, if YouTube is finally suggesting my videos, I don't know if it's this side or this side, but if there's suggestions somewhere, I also invite you to check those out. And if you don't want to miss any of my videos, then go ahead and subscribe. It's right below this video, or you can visit my channel and check everything out before you subscribe and commit. On to talking about medical bills. I wanted to share this with you a really long time ago, so I'm actually really excited, how nerdy is that, to talk about health insurance and medical bills. I've mentioned before that I have a lot of providers. Like anybody, I have a primary care physician. As a person with Crohn's, I have a gastroenterologist, and a person with an autoimmune disease, I have a rheumatologist. These are the three that I visit most frequently. Like any woman, I also have a gynecologist. As any person with glasses, I have an optometrist. Like any other person with teeth, I have a dentist. And for the rare but not so rare extraintestinal symptoms that occur with Crohn's disease, meaning they happen any other place in the body, I also have a urologist and a dermatologist. Now these are 8 providers, but this doesn't include other people who send me medical bills, like the laboratories I often go to, the special pharmacy that handles my medication every 8 weeks, the nurses who come to administer that special medication, and urgent cares and emergency rooms that I sometimes have to go to, but not as frequently as a couple of years ago where it was practically every month. So that's 13 medical bills that I have to monitor, and I say monitor because yes, let's talk about this. People in the military do have a health insurance that covers pretty much everything, and there are no copays. Sometimes you might pay for medication, but as I understand it, sometimes you don't have to pay for medication. And I honestly don't know a lot about that health insurance because I and my husband, actually, we talked about this and we felt that the other health insurance provided by the military was best for me. The most general difference that I can provide without giving too much detail and then having people nitpick at discrepancies is that that particular health insurance that covers everything requires a lot of referrals, and the one that I have requires no referrals, like zero. When we first moved here from our last duty station, I didn't even have to go through a primary care physician to get a gastroenterologist to approve the treatment that I was already receiving in another state. I basically got here, Googled somebody who accepted that health insurance. I found a gastroenterologist, went to his office and said, I'm already on this treatment, I just need to continue it. He said, no problem. And he prescribed the medication, sent it to the special pharmacy that's still the one that takes care of me. And that was 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago. So I just went straight to the specialist when normally you need a referral to a specialist. After my gastroenterologist, I found my primary care physician. And after my primary care physician, who did the full body workup and all the blood tests and everything, reconfirming that I have this illness, she was the one who was telling me, I recommend you go to this specialist. I recommend you go to this specialist. So my rheumatologist came from my primary, as well as my dermatologist and everybody else. With this other health insurance that requires no referrals, yes, there is a copay. Yes, there is I think it's $150 deductible. Yes, there is a catastrophic cap, but honestly, we prefer paying a little extra, meaning about that $1,000 cap or more, to manage my own health care than have to jump through hoops to go to a place where I know I need to be, but I have to prove to 2 other people that I need to be there, if that makes sense. So yes, there is more work involved, which I'm going to show you right now, but really, I don't have to wait as long for the things I need. That's just my preference. Now, I hope this won't show a lot of my information because there's a lot of sensitive detail here. But as you can see, I have a lot of file folders and a lot of little bunches. And again, I can't share a lot of information up close. I was gonna try to put some Post-its on things so I could cover and really show you, but it was just gonna be too much work. So I'm gonna try to do this as safe for me as possible. All the different file folders are different providers. This was the easiest way for me to keep track of the expenses. So as I mentioned before, all 8 providers and the other people who send me medical bills get their own file folder. That way, if I have to go back and say, I already paid this, or I don't know where this bill is coming from, I just go to that specific file folder and I say, oh, okay, or you're wrong. I also have a separate folder for approvals because my medication in particular needs a special authorization before it can be dispersed or dispensed. Dispensed? Sure, let's go with that. So I keep a separate folder for approvals because it has happened in the past. Again, this is the digital age, so a lot of things happen with technology. I've gotten calls saying your authorization expired, so we cannot give you the medication. And I have the authorization right here, so all I have to do is, don't ask me why there are still faxes going, but I either email or fax this to the person who called me and everything is set. Okay. How she can be so needy at this hour is beyond me. As for the medical bill part, this is what I really want to share with you because I feel that there are many people out there who are getting gypped. Sometimes you can't get out of paying your copay before you leave the office because nowadays there are some offices that have it set and they have a sign right at the desk that says that you have to pay your copay before leaving or you will be charged a fee additional to your copay. So this already happened to me and I didn't agree with it because I knew I had reached my catastrophic cap before I went to this provider, but I still paid the money. And here is the check. I got a refund for the deductible. Right there, it says bill. Oh, there it is, my bad. It says bill. So I actually got a refund check. I didn't have to do anything with this one because it's while the providers deal with the health insurance, but whatever. This was a doctor's visit from last year and I just got the check today. So I got refunded my $25. There's just no way out of that one. However, if you know that your health insurance is going to bill a certain amount and you want to get your explanation of benefits in your hands before you pay anybody, you have every right in the world to do that. You have every right in the world to tell the person, I prefer receiving the bill by mail after I get my explanation of benefits. Unless the sign is there at the desk that you have to pay in the moment, you can ask, not tell or demand, you can ask to get your bill later after the health insurance has been charged. I mentioned a few days ago that I was having a hard time logging into my health insurance online, and that's okay, it happens. Password issues, technology, whatever. But I finally got in today to pull my explanation of benefits for the last couple of weeks or months. And in case you don't know what explanation of benefits is, this is your health insurance telling you, we got a bill from your provider asking for this much money, and this is how much we paid, and this is how much you owe. It's not a bill, they're just telling you, this is the transaction that's going on, and this is what we determine you should pay this person. That's an explanation of benefits. It also tells you how much you've paid out of pocket in the year, and it tells you up to how much you can pay within the fiscal year or the calendar year, however your health insurance works. It helps you track that if you've already paid that amount, you don't keep getting bills from other people and you keep paying what you're not supposed to be paying. So this is why explanation of benefits are so important. I'm also going to show you why right now. In this folder of labs, you can see that some of them are really thin bills, but this one in particular is pretty hefty. This is a bill that kept getting sent back to me every month for a year. And I also have 2 copies of letters from my health insurance telling this laboratory that they weren't supposed to be billing me for that test because of X or Y reason. But the lab was still saying that I owed them that money. The bill was for $690, and I was not meant to pay that. As long as you communicate with your health insurance about what is going on, this is not something that affects your credit. So our credit score is not affected by this, that I did not pay this medical bill or this lab bill for a year, because my health insurance already knew what was going on, and they kept communicating with the lab. In the end, everything got resolved. I did not have to pay the $690, but everything is here in black and white just in case anything comes up in the future, which has happened in the past. Another reason explanation of benefits is so important is because of human error. And this is perfectly normal. We all make mistakes. What was happening with a last place, because I don't even want to say what kind of place it is, there was this place I was going to that was billing my health insurance for the visit and for the office time. That's the exact same doctor's visit. Because everything is digital, the person who's processing the claim from this place is saying, okay, so Veronica went to see 2 people at the same place. When I called health insurance and said, I just saw 1 person at that place for 1 thing, then they saw, oh, we do know this is a practice where people claim for the person taking care of you and for the space. I mean, like office, they're charging for the office. Instead of me paying my copay as usual, I was getting double copay for the same visit. It wasn't until I had my explanation of benefits showing what's going on that I say, oh, I'm not supposed to be paying this amount. I'm supposed to be paying half. So after I talked to my health insurance and I learned this by myself, then they said, okay, we need to contact this place that's charging people double what they should be paying. So see, you could even be doing other people a favor by taking care of your own things. It took about 10 to 12 months for me to get about 4 or 5 checks back from this place that was charging me double copay, but hey, I got the money back. Now this is just me. You don't have to do this if you don't want to, but at least me keeping track of my expenses and my doctor's visits and everything I pay and reporting to my health insurance where the discrepancies are from the providers or from the offices, wherever the place is. It also helps other people keep their premiums down, because if health insurances just think, wow, this office is very costly, I'm gonna have to raise my premium so that I can keep taking care of other people, that's not really gonna help anybody. If you let them know it's not actually that costly, they're just charging you double, you're doing somebody else a favor. So again, this is for me and for somebody else. Once you have your explanation of benefits, if you get a bill from the provider, because again, things are digital, you might have to log on somewhere, and if you want to keep track of your stuff, you might have to print something out. You keep your bill with your explanation of benefits. So I have everything here. I can't show you names or who my insurance is, so I'm sorry, I wish I could. I actually keep the claim, the explanation of benefits, and the bill all together. This way I know that if I have to call insurance or an office and say, hey, I don't think this is right, I can pull up account number, invoice number, I can pull up when the bill was processed or when the claim was processed by the health insurance, what it determined, etc., etc. I'm trying to see how I can show you this without revealing information. I think I'm just gonna block everything out when I edit the video. Remember I told you a couple of days ago I had a $1,500 lab bill that I wasn't gonna pay until I got hold of my explanation of benefits. Well, I finally did, and my explanation of benefits said that I was responsible for 0 amount of those labs that were done last month. Here are my bills. There's one for $135, another one for $15.92, and a third one for $36.05. I had actually paid the $36.05. I had already paid it because I thought, well, yeah, $36 for a lab, all right. But it wasn't until the $1,500 one came in that I went, wait a second, and now I check I wasn't even supposed to pay the $36. So I'm getting a check back for that, but could you imagine if I would have paid all of this stuff? So again, explanation of benefits, tracking where your catastrophic cap is at, and tracking what is being charged to your health insurance is something very important when you have to pay out of pocket. Now, while all this might work for you and it works for me, and in theory it's a good practice, sometimes even this isn't enough for the way certain places operate. I do have one in particular who bills my insurance about a month after the service is provided for me. By the time the claim is processed and the bill gets back to me, I'm already being serviced by this provider. So the cycle kind of keeps going. I pay a certain amount that they suddenly decide to apply to something from the past. So then I receive the same bill twice. So I tell them I already paid this bill, and they tell me that it's not really going to be applied to what the bill is saying, but actually to another amount. Don't even ask. I'm trying to explain the best I can, but I was on the phone with this person for a good hour, but this person explained to me how they process payments to the bills that they sent months before. So I'm sorry, I can't help you with that one. If you have anybody who does the same thing, just know that if you keep good track of your expenses and what you've paid and your bills, and you put the confirmation number on the bottom, then you should be fine. I hope I explained this as coherently as possible. This is a very complicated topic that took me about 3 years to master, and even still I feel like I need help, and that's why I also appreciate customer service. I never ever yell at customer service representatives. I hope you don't either. It's not their fault that something is wrong with whatever you're dealing with. They're only there to represent. Just, take it easy with these people. They deal with a lot. Customer representatives, I'm very grateful because they help me understand this stuff, and whoever can't help me, they just connect me to someone else, as has been my experience for the past 2, maybe 3 weeks. So there will always be somebody who can help you understand what is going on. This is the system that's working for me, and if you would like some help getting yours started too, I would be more than happy to help. My Instagram is below. You can also comment below or message me. I hope you guys enjoyed this information, and if you would like to see anything else related to this, I'd be more than happy to try to explain coherently. Once again, thank you guys so much for watching. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button below, like the video to help me trigger the YouTube algorithm and get me out there. Share with your friends and family, anybody who's dealing with autoimmune issues or is experiencing the military spouse life. Thank you guys so much. I will see you tomorrow.